Thank you again to our Teacher of Color Advisory Council for their leadership. As we all know, we're in the midst of a pandemic, which has upended our schools and significantly impacted students of color. I just want to pause to thank our teachers for simply just being present today, for their incredible strength that it takes to teach in this unprecedented time, and for keeping their focus on the future of our kids and their teacher peers. We are so grateful and thankful for all of you and wish you all a healthy and restful holiday. We've heard the design concepts from teachers of color. So now let's look at who is developing models and tools and frameworks to support teacher of color recruitment and retention. We purposefully and intentionally are showcasing Black, Indigenous, and people of color-led organizations because their work is rarely recognized as leading in the education sector. Today, we welcome 15 BIPOC-led organizations who support certification, pipelines, and retention at the regional and national level. We are laying the groundwork today for matchmaking these BIPOC-led organizations with opportunities. Each organization will have 3 minutes to share about the focus for their work. We're inviting each of you to complete a matchmaking interest form to let us know your interest in connecting with these organizations. Mallory, can you advance the slide, please? Thank you. You can mark your interest in each organization, and we will follow up with you after the convening with next steps. To access the interest form, either type bit.ly/TOC interest in your web browser, that's bit.ly/TOC interest, or you can go to the discussion forum in the convening platform and click on the link to access the form. So get ready, pull up your interest form, and we will invite to the stage our BIPOC-led organizations to share about the work that they're doing. So let's get started. I am pleased to welcome to the stage with the Branch Alliance for Educator Diversity, Dr. Cassandra P. Herring, President and CEO and founder. Welcome, Cassandra.
Thank you so much, Kimberly. It's a pleasure to be here. I am the President and CEO of the Branch Alliance for Educator Diversity, Branch Ed for short. We are a national nonprofit organization that works with approximately 148 minority-serving institutions that offer teacher preparation programs across the country, across 38 states, DC, Puerto Rico, and the Virgin Islands. For those of you who may not know, minority-serving institutions constitute only 14% of the educator preparation providers in our country, yet they prepare some 44% of candidates of color. They include Hispanic-serving institutions, historically Black colleges and universities, tribal colleges and universities, Asian American-serving institutions. There are 7 MSI federal designations. We at Branch Ed know very well that diversifying the teacher workforce is not a solitary act. This goal cannot be accomplished alone. Strong partnerships make the difference when it comes to ensuring that your teacher workforce and your building leaders are as diverse as the children in their classrooms. Branch Ed works to strengthen partnerships between the colleges and universities in our network and their K-12 and district partners so that together, higher education and K-12 co-create and co-implement robust and successful early pathways into teaching for middle and high school students, equity-empowered teacher preparation programs, including residency program models, as well as authentic professional development experiences for in-service teachers that equip them to implement inclusive instruction in their classrooms, even when those classrooms are online, and in-service leaders who are striving to create inclusive school environments for teachers and students, keeping families and communities in mind. Branch Ed recently published a report on the success of our model for implementing this kind of partnership. Email info@educatordiversity.org to receive a copy of the report, or you can request it through the chat section of the portal for this convening. Let me just say, there are a number of ways that Branch Ed can support you in building strong partnerships to address your recruitment and retention concerns. We'd love to connect with you. Thank you.
All righty. Thank you, Cassandra. And we look forward to seeing you in the breakout session this afternoon. And congratulations on the work that you've been doing in leading your organization. Next up, we have Marlene Migos, Director of the Capital Region Education Council, CREC. Marlene, welcome.
Welcome, and my partner, Yushanda Mitchell, should be with us also.
Thank you, and Yushanda Mitchell, thank you, welcome.
She's kicking us off this morning.
All righty. Hey, Yushanda. Let's see. Make sure we pull her into the main room here. Oh, she may not be here, Marlene.
I will jump in. So thank you for having us today. I am the director of the CREC Teacher Residency Program, and the Capital Region Education Council is an intentionally diverse social justice organization whose members work to acknowledge, respect, and empathize people of all different identifiers. For more than a decade, CREC has been an integral partner in Connecticut's minority teacher recruitment efforts and have made a strong public commitment to addressing the shortage of minority teachers in its own schools. In the summer of 2019, with the support of the State Department of Education, we created the CREC Teacher Residency Program, which is an alternate route to elementary certification. It is not only specifically designed to eliminate the most common barriers to certification, it also equips candidates with the experiences and skills necessary to become highly effective teachers. Our residency program combines the highest quality instruction with opportunities for authentic, hands-on, classroom-based experiences. The program is intentionally structured to provide interested professionals with access to the training at a minimal cost and without requiring them to leave paid employment. Our residents participate in courses for 18 months. They work for one school year side by side with a mentor teacher while receiving pay and benefits. They are guaranteed a full-time position upon completion of the program and their certification requirements. Our program started at CREC and served our Capital Region Education Council magnet schools. We have 9 elementary schools. And what we realized very quickly is that many school districts across Connecticut also were struggling with the same issues. So our program is expanding to meet the needs of the districts across Connecticut. This problem is not unique, as we all know. That's why we're here today. And our model is such that it is a true partnership between districts, our regional service centers, and experts in the field. Many of them are our course instructors. Cohorts from multiple districts will be banding together this year to be able to create a class of residents in that particular region. And they will be supported by our local regional service center. Residents work in those partner districts and have the promise of a long-standing career and support from the program. The work at the CREC Teacher Residency Program is focused on solving a pervasive problem of recruiting from a very narrow pool of educators of color here in the state of Connecticut. We are very mission-driven and are committed to changing the experiences of our students so that they can see themselves in their teachers, much like Sharif shared this morning, and benefit from diversity in all of our schools. We are here not only to change our student outcomes, but also to shift the economic situations of those who are committed to them by providing a lifelong career in education. So we are happy to be a part of this showcase and glad to hear that so many organizations are working very diligently to do this same work. And I love that a lot of our strategies are very similar to those promising practices that have already been shared this morning. Thank you.
Great, thank you, Marlene. And we look forward to learning more about your organization at the breakout session this afternoon. Next up, we welcome back the Center for Black Educator Development and Shana Terrell, the Director of Pipeline Programming. Welcome, Shana.
Mute myself. Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Shana Terrell. I'm the Director of Pipeline Programming at the Center for Black Educator Development. I'm honored to be here with you all today. At the Center, we address educational equities to improve academic and social outcomes for all students through increased teacher diversity. We do this through 4 major pillars. 1, strengthening pathways to teaching. 2, innovating professional learning. 3, developing culturally informed pedagogy. And 4, advocating for critical public policies. We all know that societies prosper when all students receive a great education. Also, a teacher corps that reflects its students and will help close the achievement gap and opportunity gaps. All students benefit from increased teacher diversity. In the words of Lenore Bennett Jr., an educator in a system of oppression is either a revolutionary or an oppressor. So we have to choose a side. And we want to make sure our next generation of educators are standing on the right side of history. So we call on all of you to be co-conspirators with us. We have to join together in nation building and supporting the next generation of Black educator revolutionaries. We are working to recruit, mentor, and support the next generation of Black education activists who will engage in education activism. Through our program, we seek to liberate education by not only providing a liberating education, but also by working to break education from oppression, white supremacy, and systemic racism. Though we have other programs, our premier programs, Freedom Schools Literacy Academy, shows our pillars at work. We provide college and high school students with pre-apprenticeships while being mentored and coached by experienced Black and brown educators. Our college and high school apprentices are able to lead and teach classrooms in the morning while receiving culturally relevant professional learning in the afternoon. This demonstrates that we need to recruit and support and retain Black and brown educators by supporting them through mentorship and a culturally affirming environment. So we appreciate the opportunity to be here today to showcase the Center for Black Educator Development. We invite you all to come be co-conspirators with us. Thank you.
Thank you, Desiree. I want to be a co-conspirator, so appreciate the invitation and look forward to hearing more about the work you all are doing this afternoon. All right, let's welcome up from the Equity Institute, Carlin Howard, Chief Impact Officer. Welcome, Carlin.
Thank you so much. It's such a pleasure to be here in y'all's presence today. My name is Carlin Howard. I serve as the Chief Impact Officer with Equity Institute. I'm here to talk about one of our great programs called the EduLead Fellowship. The EduLead Fellowship helps teacher assistants and youth workers attain their college degree and teaching certification on a path to become classroom educators with long-term impact, right? These are folks who for so long have been overlooked and marginalized within the education space, and we're looking to uplift them and bring them to a point in life where they can be the leaders in our schools and in our classrooms. There's really 3 problems we're trying to solve, as been discussed before here today. Number 1, there's a lack of racial, linguistic, and ethnic diversity in the teacher workforce. Problem number 2, navigating the teacher certification process is challenging. Problem number 3, limited accessible opportunities for adult learners to attain degree and achieve their certification. So here's our solution. We have 3 solutions. Number 1, we target the teacher assistants and youth workers and cultivate an interest in becoming a certified educator. From there, we streamline the educator certification process through our partnerships with College Unbound, along with the Rhode Island School for Progressive Education. And then solution number 3, we provide access to and support the completion of an educator certificate program. Now, when you think about it, what we're really trying to do is re-envision and reimagine the way education preparation is done in our country. Our origin story started 4 years ago with the EduLead Fellowship, when we used to be called EduLeaders of Color, and still have that initiative going on. We were able to secure funding last year to start growing that initiative and building it up into something pretty great. Step number 1 is folks go through this program, they get their bachelor's degree from College Unbound. College Unbound is a degree completion college that targets adult learners and folks who are workers, working full-time rather, and have families. Step number 2 is pursue graduate level coursework. And the next step, number 3, is attain their teaching certification. And then they are able to receive ongoing support beyond their certification and their degree completion. The timing is huge right now. Research suggests that teachers could retire in large numbers as schools reopen, and we know this would create a significant number of teacher vacancies. Research also confirms that when taught by a teacher of color, students of color experience higher reading and math scores, higher graduation rates, decreased dropout and discipline rates, and increased enrollment in advanced courses. Here in Rhode Island, we have 1,500 support professionals and teacher assistants. We know that here in Rhode Island, about a third of our folks have the bachelor's degree, which means about 2/3 don't. Our target right now is working with our 15 teaching fellows to become educators. And we're working with, again, College Unbound, Rhode Island School of Progressive Education to really make this happen. If you're interested in connecting, please email me at choward@theequityinstitute.org or check us out at www.theequityinstitute.org. It's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for having me here today.
All right. Thank you, Carlin. We are on a roll here, folks. We are now moving to He Is Me Institute and Robert Hendricks, founder and executive director. So welcome, Robert.
Thank you. Thank you. Good morning or afternoon, everybody, depending on where you are. As stated, I'm the founder and executive director of He Is Me Institute. He Is Me is an education equity organization that develops and fills the pipeline for Black men to become teachers. So you can check this slide to kind of get an idea of what we do, but I want to spend some time telling you kind of why this is important from my perspective. And it starts back in junior high school when I moved back into a district I had gone to for elementary, but when I came in the 7th grade, I was placed on a lower level track of courses. So that led me to being really disengaged in school. I wasn't feeling challenged, I was bored, and I didn't do so well in the 7th grade. 8th grade, I kind of turned it around, brought my grades up, but for most of my teachers, that wasn't enough for them to then put me in high school courses that were more rigorous. So that kept me on a lower track, and it impacted my trajectory for post-secondary. So fast forward a few years, I was an assistant principal, and I saw the same thing happening again. There was a young man, a Black boy, who was academically disengaged. However, he was extremely intelligent, loved to be challenged, loved to challenge others. However, he didn't do so well in the 9th grade. So using my platform as assistant principal, I pushed the administration to put him in advanced placement courses to sophomore year. And while the staff and the other teachers heard me out, heard my arguments, people could not really understand why I was advocating for a C student to be in even more rigorous classes. So he stayed on that same track and didn't do so well his sophomore year. So I had to make a decision in that moment. Do I want to convince teachers that currently work in the system to discover this new perspective and this new way of looking at our young Black boys in schools? Or do I help those who already have that perspective to discover teaching? So I went with the latter. So I founded He Is Me in 2018 to do just that. We've developed a 5-point pipeline to get Black men from college to the classroom as full-time teachers. You can follow us on social media or check out our website at heisme.org to find out more information about that. Looking forward to see some of you in the room in a little bit.
All right, Robert, thank you. And thank you for the work that you're leading with He Is Me, and look forward to hearing from you in the breakouts. Next, we are going to invite up Daniel Velasco, who's the Chief Growth and Impact Officer with Latinos for Education. Welcome, Daniel.
Thanks, Kim. Hi, everyone. I'm Daniel Velasco, and I'm happy to share about Latinos for Education. We're the first and only Latino-founded and led national education organization focused on accelerating leadership pipelines for Latinos in our sector. We do this through local and national fellowships that are designed to identify, again, fast-track Latino talent in this sector from the classroom all the way through to the boardroom. We provide 3 core fellowships that are now fully available virtually. One targets teacher retention, another fast tracks school building and district leadership, and another is focused on training education board members. All our programs feature identity-based leadership skills, storytelling through Harvard's public narrative framework, and the Latinx educator as agents against anti-Blackness. Finally, through our advocacy work and leveraging our EdCentro platform, our network of thousands of Latinos in the education sector is uniquely positioned to help school systems meet the challenge of helping to recruit and retain what we find to be essential Latino talent across the country. So if this sounds like something you or your system could benefit from, we're here to help, and I'm fairly easy to reach. My email is daniel@latinosforeducation.org. Looking forward to seeing you all in a little while.
Excellent. Thank you, Daniel. Thank you for being here today.
Thank you, Kim.
All righty. Look forward to seeing you later today. Let's move to Edgar Palacios, who's president, CEO, and founder of the Latinx Collaborative. Welcome, Edgar.
Thank you so much for having me here. Buenos dias, everyone. My name is Edgar Palacios. I am the founder of the Latinx Education Collaborative. We are a Kansas City-based startup nonprofit organization whose mission is to increase the representation of Latinx education professionals in K-12. I am thrilled to be a part of this community. As you see, many people are working on issues of recruitment and retention in these spaces around teachers of color. And our vision is really to help and contribute to co-build a world where every student has access to a thriving community of Latinx education professionals. We do this in 3 ways. First, we focus on retention. As the data suggests, a lot of Latino educators come into this space at higher rates versus other communities, but they also exit at the highest rates. And so before we fix any pipeline issues or recruitment issues, we want to make sure that our current talent feels like they belong in the system and feels like they can contribute as well. Our second strategic objective is pathway exposure. We want to plant the seed to middle school students, making sure that they understand that education is a viable career option and it can be a very rewarding profession. And then the third strategic objective that we have is recruitment support. We don't want to develop a new pipeline, a new organization just to bring in our own way of doing things. We recognize in places like Kansas City, we are filled with different options and a variety of options of how to get into the education space, how to become a teacher. And so we want to make sure that we're communicating those options to our Latinx community and that we're finding the right matches and the right fit for our community. You can find us on social media at Latinx Edco, and I appreciate being here and I look forward to talking to you in the breakout room.
Awesome. Thank you, Edgar. Thank you for being here with us today. Next, we're excited to welcome the National Indian Education Association and Diana Cornier, who will share about their work. Diana.
Hello, there was a change of speakers today. I will be speaking for Diana and Melanie Johnson. Sorry
Welcome,
about that.
Melanie.
Okay, so hello everyone. I am Melanie Johnson. I am the program director for the National Indian Education Association. We're very honored and delighted to be a part of this initiative. It seems that we may be the only Native organization here, so I feel very honored that we're able to represent our Native brothers and sisters. So the National Indian Education Association has been around since 1970. We just celebrated our 51st year. So we have been working in education for several years to actually advance comprehensive culture-based educational opportunities for American Indians, Alaska Natives, and Native Hawaiians. One of the things that we worked on with our initiative was to, like many of you, teacher shortages are pervasive in Native schools across the country. The National Indian Education Association worked collaboratively with TNTP to recruit and retain effective teachers and unleash the power of the 7th generation of Native students. We believe that in 7 generations, we have to look down the road. I believe we are in the 7th generation of seeing some of that change in our communities. But in saying that, we're also facing many, many challenges. So from one of the things that we have learned through this initiative is that we have to prepare our teachers and recruit them through a website, through a job board that we created. We are probably one of the only organizations that are doing that right now to connect teachers with schools. We developed an accredited K-8 travel certification program. We also advocate, which is very important for us to be effective, certification pathways that are controlled by Native communities, informed policies and decisions and advocacy efforts backed by data. And one of the components that I'm very proud about is our culture-based teaching. We have toolkits and resources housed on a repository. The reason that's important is because when we have professional development for our teachers and our teacher candidates, it's very important that they have that cultural-based teaching so that they can teach culture to not just our Native children, but to the non-Native children, to have a better understanding and to know what it is for us to be a Native American. Sometimes our kids are not raised in Native communities and outside of that in urban areas or rural areas. So our teachers have to be equipped with that. And so one of the things that we're doing at NIA is to make sure that we are recruiting teachers, preparing them in a way that's going to help with retention. Other things that we're trying to do is to monetize training so we can sustain these efforts, but really looking at diversity, equity, and inclusion in everything that we're doing. I think that learning from your organization and listening to all the other people that are here today, it's a great way for us to be a part and to be at the table and to have a voice. So I just want to say thank you.
Thank you, Melanie, for being here, and look forward to hearing more from your organization in a few minutes. Next up, we are excited to have the folks from NYC Men Teach and Jason Acosta, who is Diversity Recruitment Manager. Welcome, Jason.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for having me. I am super excited to be among so many dope educators and just learning from all of you today. As stated, my name is Jason Acosta, and I am the Diversity Recruitment Manager for a New York City mayoral initiative called NYC Men Teach. This initiative is housed in the New York City Department of Education. So many of you know we are the largest school district in the nation, but I want to give you a little bit of context and some quick data points so everything else can make sense that I'm about to share. So at the New York City Department of Education, we have 1,800 public schools. That's across all 5 boroughs. Think of boroughs as counties that make up a large city, 75,000 teachers, and 1.1 million students. So out of the 75,000 teachers, only 8% of them actually identified as men of color back in 2015. However, I'm super excited to report literally today, we made it public that we've increased that number from 8% in 2015 to 14% where we are today. So yes, quick snaps for that. And that number, although could seem small in percentage, is large when you're talking about whole numbers, right? When we think about that. So it's thousands of men of color that we've been able to recruit over the years. And this is why the initiative exists. So our initiative focuses on the recruitment and retention of male educators of color across all of our 1,800 public schools. And we initially launched in 2015 with the goal of recruiting 1,000 men of color by 2018. So as you can hear, and as you see, we were successful in meeting that goal, and the New York City mayor just announced another goal of getting another 1,000 men of color into our classrooms by 2022. So in our presentation, we will share more about our recruitment strategies, which includes a little bit about how we've developed university partnerships. And as you all are doing right now, really thinking about grow your own programs, folks who are already in our schools doing amazing work in non-pedagogical titles, looking to make that transition. So with that, join us later on today to learn more about the work we are doing. Thank you.
Thank you, Jason, for being here. I appreciate it. All right, next up we have Jason Terrell, another Jason, who's founder of Profound Gentlemen. Welcome, my friend. Good to have you here.
It's good to have you, Kim. Thank you for inviting me to the call, and it's great to hear about the work that NYC Men Teach and some other organizations are doing across the country. My name is Jason Terrell. I'm a former K-12 educator. Spent some time in the classroom in Charlotte, North Carolina. I'm born, raised, and currently reside in Atlanta, so I have very strong, deep Southern roots, but I lead a nonprofit called Profound Gentlemen. Our mission is to support not only just the recruitment, but the retention of male educators of color across the country. We have the largest community of men of color. We support about 500 Black and Latino male teachers everywhere from California to New York to down south here in Atlanta to Mississippi. We partner with schools and districts across the country to run a near peer mentorship model to make sure that these men are not only recruited into the profession, but have the types of like coaching and like professional development they need to not only grow, through their just content area, but just support the holistic and self-care of our educators. We often talk about the 2% of men of color who are currently teaching in the classroom, but we don't talk about that. These men leave the classroom 5 times higher than any other demographic. And there's a slew of research from Dr. Travis Bristol to like the Ed Trust with, If You Listen, We Will Stay, the Voices of Teachers of Color, that talks a lot about the retention of educators of color, but we developed a unique community-based model to meet their needs. I would love to talk with you more about how you can bring profound gentlemen into your districts or communities, or if you have a group of teachers who are interested in starting their own kind of affinity space, that's really sacred to them. That's something that we specialize in. So you can reach me at jason@profoundgentleman.org. Definitely follow us on all social media channels. We're very active. Our vision is to change the cultural lens. When you think about a teacher, we want you to think about a PG educator. So we do things like put out magazines, videos. Check us out. Definitely connect us if you want to get in touch. Thanks again.
Great. Thanks, Jason. Good to see you. All righty. Next up, we have Akua Stovall, who's Executive Director of the Special Education Leadership Fellowship, otherwise known as SELF. Akua, welcome.
Sorry about that. Thank you for having me, Kim. Today I want to talk about our specialty development cohorts at SELF. It's our teacher training program. It's a 1-year fellowship that equips teachers with research-based knowledge to help them serve diverse learners in their classrooms. The reason why SELF started the teacher fellowship is because we in the city of New Orleans are 100% charter, and the majority of our special ed teachers are alternatives certification. And they just did not possess the tools to serve the range and the continuum of services of special education students. And in New Orleans, 90% of our students identify as color, but the special education teacher force was only 38%. So we wanted to develop a program where we increase the knowledge of special education teachers and also train more teachers of color to stay in the field. So 2 years ago, we started a program to help train teachers, but not only do we address the special education pedagogy, but we look at it also through a lens of diversity, equity, and inclusion. Because special education students are in lower income schools disenfranchised. So we also teach teachers around their biases, intersectionality, and ableism, and how they all come together to help serve the students and build equitable classrooms in our city. For the last 2 years, we have trained 96 teachers, and over half of them have been teachers of color. But what some great things that have happened is that some of the teachers now are looking to become teacher leaders within their schools with the new tools that they have. And some of them also are wanting to apply into our leader fellowship. So if you are interested in a program like this and to build a capacity of special education teachers and also increase retention around teachers of colors, please reach out to SELF at info@selfnola.org, and I look forward to seeing you in our breakout room.
All righty. Thanks, Akua. Let's go to Pema Latshang, who's founding executive director of Teach Western Mass. Pema, welcome.
Thank you, Kim. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Pema Latshang. I'm the founding executive director of Teach Western Mass and a proud native of Western Massachusetts, which is an amazing region. And since 2016, Teach Western Mass has worked to ensure that the region's highest need schools have effective teachers in all of their classroom. I think everybody attending today knows that a high quality teacher can double student learning in 1 year and how important that is for our students. We do this by increasing the quantity, the quality, and the diversity of the teacher talent pool. We are a network of 30 partner schools that includes both district and charter public schools. And we serve really our school communities and their students. Our students primarily live in Holyoke and Springfield, which are two urban areas that are comprised of 80% Black and Latinx students. There is a large gap, as I think many of us here know, in our communities between the teacher workforce and the student body. And so one of the ways that we have worked to increase the quantity, quality, and diversity of the teacher talent pool is by starting a teacher residency program. So our flagship program, the Teach Western Mass Residency, is an alternative prep program. We work to decrease the barriers of entry into the teaching profession. It was founded in 2018, and we prepare, license, and support teachers for our partner schools. We also recruit already licensed teachers through our certified teacher application as well. And we really take a systematic approach because really, as I think many of us here, the true goal is educational equity and really liberation for our students and their families. So I look forward to speaking with some of you later on in the session. Feel free to follow us on social media, check out our website, come visit Western Mass when safe to do so. And I'm really honored to be here with all of you. So thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Pema, and looking forward to hearing more about your organization in the breakout. Next, we're going to welcome up Felipe Perez, who is with Teach Chicago Tomorrow. Felipe, welcome.
Yes, happy Friday, everybody. My name is Felipe Perez, director of the Teach Chicago Tomorrow initiative at Chicago Public Schools. And our mission is to increase teacher diversity by helping Chicago high school graduates become Chicago Public Schools teachers. By way of context, right now our teacher workforce at Chicago Public Schools is about 50% white, whereas our student body is 90% Black and brown. And that disparity, despite 10 years of effort, is getting worse. So really the kernel of Teach Chicago Tomorrow, the analysis is that the issue isn't recruitment practices or hiring practices. The issue is really a shrinking pipeline of educators of color. So we are really focused on that pipeline. Furthermore, right, our analysis rejects the notion that that shrinking pipeline is due to decreasing interest in the teaching profession among students of color. And we are really focused on barriers to entry, barriers to persistence, and barriers to college completion for students of color. So really that is our work. Teach Chicago Tomorrow is really focused in investing in a robust homegrown teacher pipeline at scale, right? The initiative is literally 2 months old. We just launched this. And right now, sort of at the ends of the strategy, we've got a mile wide, inch deep, and then we've got a deep strategy. Sort of mile wide, inch deep is this idea that equipping students and families with information about the pathway is going to be a key lever to success, right? We serve a huge population of first generation potential college students, first generation Americans. The pathway to teaching, the pathway to a teaching credential is not entirely obvious. So we believe that there's leverage in really increasing the quality of counseling, the quality of resources to students and families to successfully navigate that pathway, sort of, and help these students achieve that dream and come back to us. That's our broad strategy, which, you know, over the years, we will deepen. At the other end of the Teach Chicago Tomorrow spectrum is a deep, deep partnership with the Chicago City College System, our local two-year college system, and Illinois State University, our biggest teacher training program here in Illinois. The key lever there is working with a deep three-party partnership, the public school, the two-year college, the four-year college, to create a seamless end-to-end pathway from CPS classroom to CPS classroom, right? And we really believe that the leverage point here, the differentiator, is a powerful focus on increasing successful transfer rates from the 2-year system to the 4-year system. The community college system here in Chicago is the single biggest destination of our CPS graduates, but transfer rates are below 20% to 4-year programs. We really believe that we unlock deep talent by increasing those transfer rates and bring a whole new pool of diverse homegrown educators to CPS through that strategy. Our focus is systemic change, doing so at scale. So really our goal is to triple the number of alumni teachers that we hire by 2025, up to 500 homegrown teachers annually. That will change the composition of our incoming teacher class every year and really change the face of CPS over the next decade. So to learn more about our work, go to cps.edu/teachtomorrow, and look forward to speaking with more of you later today. Thank you.
Thank you, Felipe. Appreciate hearing about what's happening in Chicago. Sounds exciting. Let's now invite Trish Malign DeZico, my good friend, who's Executive Director of the Technology Access Foundation, and Dr. Heather Lechner, Executive Director of Education at the Technology Access Foundation. Welcome, Trish and Heather.
Can you hear me? Okay, so I'm actually the presenter. My name is Dr. Raydell Boateng, so filling in for Trish and Heather, and I am delighted to share with you about the dopest organization representing from Washington State, TAF, the Technology Access Foundation. TAF is a 24-year-old organization with a mission to build collaborative relationships with public education to create access to transformative systems of learning for students and educators of color to eliminate race-based disparities in an increasingly diverse society. TAF's Network for EdWork is designed to support multiple pathways into teaching and leading. So providing early career coaching, which we know is essential, and then ongoing professional development for BIPOC teachers. So doing all that we can to ensure that they stay and that school contexts transform to be culturally sustaining and responsive. In a word, we relentlessly support the sustainability of BIPOC educators. How do we do this? We do this through recruitment. We form partnerships with public and private universities in Washington to recruit BIPOC teachers. We currently have 10 university partners across the state. We educate, we provide our teachers and leaders and partners with tools and behaviors that help sustain inclusive and equitable schools and learning spaces. We curate. The TAF team knows people because we intrinsically value relationship. So we know when we ask our speakers and providers who are our friends and co-conspirators in this work from the surrounding communities of activists and leaders to help manifest the amazing programming that we have. And we transform. In our next stage of work that has been long overdue in this sector, the Network for EdWork will be partnering formally with districts to help them transform their school environments to places where BIPOC teachers can thrive. We have 2 programs under the Network for EdWork umbrella, the Martinez Fellowship, which focuses on recruitment and retention, so getting our BIPOC teachers in and staying. The Martinez Fellowship has seen 220 fellows between 12 cohorts, and 85% of our fellows stay in the profession after 5 years. So that's high and that's awesome. And our goal is to serve 2,400 BIPOC educators in Washington State by 2036. And once a fellow, always a fellow, but we officially provide 3 years of support for emergent teachers through bi-monthly seminars with topics that are often decided by and led by fellows with leadership support and development from our team. And then the Education Encounter focuses on BIPOC leadership development. And unlike traditional professional development, we focus on how does one lead liberated by challenging internalized racism and effectively speaking back to systems of oppression. Both programs use liberation pedagogy as the framework and foundation, and liberation pedagogy is a way for all, but particularly BIPOC educators, to challenge internalized and systemic racism. With that framework, our hope is that our newest fellows will understand broadly what liberation is and can explain how the elements connect and relate to their own practice and development. For our veteran fellows, we want them to also feel confident to engage with others about liberation and engage them in the process of liberation. And finally, we want folks in leadership positions to feel secure to lead groups around liberation pedagogy regularly to incite systems level change. So in a nutshell, partnering with universities, districts, and communities to support leaders and teachers through life-saving and truth-speaking programming, that's our approach to systemic and sustained change. Hope to see some of you later on.
Thank you, Raydell, and good to meet you. We'll see Trish and Heather later on as well. So thank you for being here. We're rounding the corner here. The next up is Devin Morris with the Teachers Lounge. Welcome, Devin.
Thank you, Kim. Thank you, Maleron, and all the incredible folks behind the scenes making today's magic possible. So my name is Devin Morris. I'm a co-founder of the Teachers Lounge. I want to start by just naming that I'm overjoyed to be presenting among such an elite group of inspiring folk today. More importantly, knowing that we're not alone in this work, as I felt in the classroom and how so many folks have named today, the educators of color feel in their current workspaces. So the vision for the Teachers Lounge is to drive unprecedented student outcomes by greatly diversifying the people, thoughts, and actions of the educational workforce in the greater Boston area and beyond. And we do this through buckets of work to recruit, revitalize, and retain educators of color. When you hear about this work, you often hear of these three separate buckets: recruit, develop, and retain. And we have two thoughts here: development, support, communication, trust, and empowerment are all components of a healthy and sustainable relationship, and they need not to be decoupled from your retention strategies. If I want someone to stay and I'm doing my retention work, then I'm going to do all of these things as part of my retention strategy. This needs to be status quo. And so our work shifts the order a bit. Retention has to be the starting point and has to be the priority in this work. Why would any candidate of color consider your school or district if the narrative amongst current educators of color is not positive? And why would any current educators of color working within your schools or district ever consider supporting outreach initiatives if they don't feel valued, supported, and developed? And so our work is twofold. For educators of color across the state, we increase exposure to people, resources, and opportunities. And these resources and opportunities are from other educators of color, from white educator allies, and from the school and district partners in our field. We provide professional development and workshops to improve individual and collective practice. We curate an affinity space that affirms the rich diversity and experiences and backgrounds rarely reflected in our schools at present. Now, these spaces serve as both social and professional networking opportunities. And we do this through monthly convenings during the academic calendar. For our school and district partners, we provide diverse recruitment pipelines. And so hiring managers are connected to a collective of educators of color across those 10 months of TTL programming, allowing opportunities to develop sustainable relationships instead of the opportunistic ones that solely exist during hiring season and at career fairs. We provide a job posting portal where hiring managers can post openings throughout the year to gain exposure to an ever-growing collective of educators of color. And we provide equity consultation rooted in research-based strategies and promising practices to improve those retention, revitalization, and recruitment efforts toward a more diverse educator workforce. What started for us as a listserv of 100 educators of color has grown to well over 1,200 educators of color throughout the greater Boston area. Pre-pandemic, we averaged close to 200 attendees per event. The image featured here on your screen is an image from one of our first years together and has grown exponentially over the past 2 years. Our average virtual attendance has leveled off somewhere around 60 attendees per event. And it, of course, started much stronger last spring when we had hoped that this pandemic would end much sooner. And so we're looking forward to answering any questions from attendees on our proposed retention and revitalization strategy as a means towards stronger student outcomes and stronger recruitment strategies. Our website is featured in the top left corner of the slide, and we look forward to connecting with folks later today.
Excellent. Thank you, Devin, and thank you for being here. And last, but certainly not least, rounding us out for today is Desiree Hunter, Managing Director and co-founder of the Future Leaders Incubator. Welcome, Desiree.
Thank you. Welcome. I don't know if you guys know, but New York, we do it big or we go home. So before we can get started, let's get some music going because we are all so incredibly excited to be here. We have been doing this work hard. We have been doing it strong. We've been doing it through a pandemic. We're having amazing results. We're getting things done and we're gonna keep on doing that. So let's have Nas talk to us a little bit and then I'll tell you all about Future Leaders Incubator. Hi, everyone. My name is Desiree Hunter, and I'm the co-founder and managing director of Future Leaders Incubator. We are a nonprofit out of Brooklyn, New York, founded in October 2017 that is having incredible results. Our mission is to strengthen communities by incubating transformative initiatives that promote diversity and equity for a more inclusive future. Yes, we are in New York, and most people believe that we should still not be dealing with this issue of diversity. But guess what? In New York City, 80% of students do not look like the teachers that are in front of them. In our 3 years of operation, we have trained 231 aspiring teachers, of which 142 are currently placed in New York City public schools, and 128 of our fellows identify as BIPOC. We have said what you might say is impossible is possible, but it's going to be about working together. Every day, our fellows impact 9,500 students, and we have 18 partner schools. Our approach has been simple. Let's remove the barriers that exist at the recruitment line. Let's provide the supports in schools to make sure they're staying there, and let's really look to transform the face of education by ensuring that they're in schools long enough to get into leadership. So we provide a 3-stage program. Our first stage is our 40 hours of educational training with our fellows, where we take them through training of the basics of getting it. Once they are placed, we support them through the 3 years. This includes certification exams. This includes making sure they are getting into graduate school. And then we work with them into leadership roles. Our greatest game changer has been our ability to partner with schools so that it does not simply become a pipeline issue. This is an all-encompassing ecosystem effort that we do. And so our work is really about getting schools to work with us, to work with their leaders, to work in their hiring practices, to work in professional development, to really make schools an inclusive and equitable space. I am so happy to be here. I want to talk to you all about what we're doing. We want to talk to you about the impact we're having and will continue to have. Please check us out at futureleadersincubator.org or join our breakout group. Looking forward to seeing you. Take care.
Oh, Desiree, thank you for bringing us home with some energy, with some music. Appreciate that, and see you in the breakout sessions later. Well, folks, wow, that was a very full plate of organizations that are doing amazing work. So thank you to all of the BIPOC-led organizations for briefly sharing about your work. And attendees, please submit your interest forms so that we can capture your interest in connecting with these organizations. We will work very quickly to analyze the forms and get back to you and begin making some connections here. So we've arrived at the end of our public convening, and we actually pulled into the finish line a little early here. I hope that everyone has enjoyed hearing the plethora of ideas from teachers of color and learning about the amazing work led by BIPOC-led organizations. As I shared with you at the beginning, our goal was to simply showcase amazing ideas and organizations, and you heard a lot. You heard a lot from teachers of color. You heard a lot from organizations that are leading this work. So I hope that you have received a tremendous value from this convening today.